and this will be my spoiler review of The Punisher Season 1 on Netflix. And yeah, I finished this in, I guess, a day and a half. I took like 16 pages of notes, and my thoughts are like all over the place, and I wrote most of the important things down. I might post my notes or something. Maybe a link in the description later or something. But I wrote down most of the important facts and what happened, and I wish I would have wrote down what Micro said about the meaning of memento mori, because all I remember is that that's the what the Punisher symbol means, and had something to do with Greeks and remember you will die, maybe, which I had the full quote though, and I forgot which episode that was in. But I wrote everything else besides that down. So if someone can tell me in the comments, that would be great, just so I know for my peace of mind. And yeah, I think I'll just go off by memory for this review and not look at my notes for now, since my thoughts are all over the place. And like all the characters that died, and I thought who would die. And I had the feeling Billy was evil all along. He's just too good to be true. But I easily trusted Curtis, and I knew Lewis was gonna be a problem, just waiting for him to crack or snap. And I thought he really would kill himself when he held the gun in his mouth, and I don't know, it's weird. Would people really hold their gun up to their mouth like that? Because what if they miss and die a slow, painful death? That was my first thought. But oh well. He still blew himself up in the end. And because of Lewis, we got some awesome action scenes, which is good, and some explosions. And then yeah, kind of feel sorry for Curtis, since he got caught up in all this, but at least he survived. I really thought he died once Lewis beat him with his own prosthetic leg. There's a lot of blood everywhere. I really thought he would die, but luckily he lived. Can't say the same for Sam though. I think in the back of my mind I knew he would die, but I was hoping he would live. Especially since I feel like every cop's or detective's partner always dies, no matter what. Because Misty Knight lost her partner, Dinah lost her partner, of course. Then on The Flash, Joe lost Eddie, but I guess Eddie, well, I guess spoilers for The Flash, like season 1, Eddie killed himself though, so that doesn't really count. And then Misty's partner was Dirty. And then I guess Sam was really the innocent one that died for no reason. All because of Billy, and he got too close, and because of Billy's stupid sleeve knife that I always keep forgetting about. Every time it pops up, I remember he has it, but then before that, I always forget. If only Sam just stayed away and didn't try to arrest him until more people came, and let them do it instead. So Sam could have survived, especially if Madani survived. She got shot in the head, and she somehow survived. I really don't know how that can happen when Punisher and Billy and all these people shot all these other soldiers or mercenaries straight in the head. Some were sniped, some were shotgun, some had pistols. I think Madani was shot with a pistol too. They all got shot in the head and they died. Then The one person that survives is Madani, of course. I thought she really was dead when they shot her, but then again, why would they spend the show spend all this time on her, then have her killed? Because if you think about it, I thought the only ones that were really going to make it out of this were, well, for sure, Frank, because he's the main character, and Madani. And I believed it when Micro faked his death too, but I shouldn't have seen that coming since Frank wasn't that broken up about it. Especially since pretty sure he considers Micro as family too. And Sarah and the kids as well, since he had that nightmare about Thanksgiving dinner with his family and Micro's family and them getting shot because of him. And yeah, I guess this season of Punisher we learned more about his backstory, what happened in Kandar, and with the mission Cerberus, and Billy, who I don't think Billy, the Punisher, ever mentioned Billy in season 2 of Daredevil. I feel like he kind of showed up out of nowhere, and I guess technically so did Curtis, since I thought the Punisher had no friends. But I guess it still works since they fleshed all this out, and basically, I'm trying to think about it. At some point, Billy betrayed him. But Billy said it was after he got discharged. So he wasn't working with Rollins or Agent Orange during the Cerberus mission, or was he? I think it was after Frank killed all those people and punched Rollins, maybe? I feel like he was still on Frank's side up until that point. And then maybe he sold him out to Rollins. Or maybe it was right before that. That's still kind of unclear, but maybe I'm just mixing some things up. Maybe. And then I still can't believe Billy would just betray Frank, since they were like brothers, they were family, and he was there that day at the park in the merry-go-round with his wife and his kids, and they called him Uncle Billy. And they really did treat him like family, so how can you just let them die like that? Since he knew they were gonna die, but he didn't kill him himself. And he served with Frank for like 8 years in the military. And I'm also surprised that Frank didn't kill him in the end, since he had the chance. He really messed up his face on that mirror and ruined all his good looks and shot him in the face and bashed in his skull a bunch of times on the concrete and on the mirror. So now they said he had brain damage and he's basically in a coma. He could wake up in a few days, never, or remember everything or nothing, or only some details. And I have a feeling he will be back, maybe in season 2. And then in the end, they let Frank go, give him his old identity back. Pete Cataloni is a free man again, but Punisher is still officially out there wanted, but at least they replace all his DNA evidence in the cops database with the dead man, so I guess that helps. And they paid him off too. And I wonder what will happen to Curtis's like soldier anonymous meetings. Well, I guess it's not anonymous, but his meetings. Since Billy was supporting him and funding it. Maybe Frank has enough money to support it for him, since he's part of the group now. And he admitted that he's scared and he needs help, and he's finally talking about all the horrors in his life since the military and rushing in and killing all those people in Kandahar with that country song playing. And I should look up that song. I think I wrote it down. It was a good song. Let's see, Sam's dead. Who died? Sam's dead. Billy's still alive. Rollins is dead, of course. So Sam, who was innocent, Rollins is dead. Then Billy killed Bennett. And then Frank killed the other Colonel Snoozer in Daredevil Season 2. And then he killed Carson Wolf in Episode 2. I thought Carson Wolf would last longer, but he really didn't last that long. And Frank managed to trick him into taking his gun and aim it at him and basically tell him everything he wanted to know, since Carson thought Frank was gonna die after he pulled the trigger, but of course there was no ammo left, since other Frank only put one bullet in that gun, since he shot him in the leg earlier to make Carson think there were bullets in it, which is smart. So he definitely outsmarted Carson that way. And then yeah, I feel sorry for Curtis. He's been through so much. Then of course he gets shot in the shoulder, and when Billy tries to kill him again. And at least Frank was a couple steps ahead then. And then I kind of also feel sorry for Lewis's dad. And I'm surprised we didn't get to see his reaction to his son bombing everything on the news and stuff. But what Frank said probably is what's going to happen, that everyone's going to write like terrorists on his house or something. And all his friends will leave him and he'll be all alone. All because of what his son did. And then Madani mentioned earlier that her father was a surgeon, but we never saw him until like the final episode, which is weird, since we saw her mother. I guess her father is busy being a doctor, but I thought we'd see him at least for like one scene before the finale. But oh well. And then I guess in the end Frank trusted Madani as much as Micro did. And I guess there's another question that was never answered. How did Madani lose that video file? I can only think that the higher-ups maybe caught wind of it and deleted it from her computer or email, wherever she sent it from. Since it was Azor, it probably linked to her account, so maybe that's what happened. And then, so basically, Frank's family died for nothing, since he wasn't the one that recorded Ahmad's, maybe Ahmad's, Madini's, Madani's cop friend in Afghanistan, since that was Gunner. But everyone thought Frank did it, so. Which means even Billy thought he did it. But Billy knows Frank, so probably should have figured out that he wouldn't do that. Especially since it would damn him the most, since he was the one that shot and killed Ahmed. Yeah, but I really like Sam. Sad he's gone, but I really liked Curtis too. I think I'd rather keep Curtis than Sam, but I wish they both survive. But I guess we can't have it all. And at least Michael's alive too, and Punisher's, I guess, still around since he didn't leave town. And I guess that's it, because Marion's still on the good side, even though she was kind of being like blackmailed by Rollins, but he got what he deserved in the end after Frank stabbed him, choked him, and gouged out his eyes. After he kept punching and knocking Frank out, and he'd have flashbacks of his wife. And then Rafi thought he'd be corrupted too, since he was so against what Downey was doing in the beginning, but I guess not. I guess he is one of the good guys, but everything could turn around next season. I guess I'm still unsure about him. It's like I want to trust him, but something tells me that we shouldn't. That I shouldn't trust him. And I think that's all the characters. Well, most of them. Oh, and Karen, of course, and Brett, which is. Brett was Foggy's cop friend that gave him intel that he passed on to Matt to do his job. So Brett was there to interview Karen and the senator after Lewis tried to kill them both. I'm surprised Lewis just didn't, like, throw a grenade at them or something, since he's right there. He could have killed him instantly or set up another bomb in the room, maybe, since he got in there so easily in his anvil disguise. But I guess he just wanted to shoot him. And then Karen, I thought she'd be in this season more, but I get that it's Frank's story. I guess she was just there mostly to reassure Frank that he is good and she believes in him and that she wants him to stay safe. And to write an article, of course, about her thoughts on Lewis. And his 3 bombings in New York that killed a few people, a few innocent people, and I don't really understand Lewis's plan to use bombs when trying to get the senator killed and tell him that people need their guns, but why are you using bombs and why are you killing civilians? I could understand if he was only going after the politicians, but reporters and civilians and innocents. I guess he just snapped. And he's no longer thinking clearly, especially after killing O'Connor. Stabbing him after he found out he was a liar. But then he still spouts the same thing that O'Connor was going about earlier about guns and their need for them. Which is weird since I thought he would throw away all of Connor's ideals after he killed him and learned the truth that he never really saw combat. But he was still enrolled in the military. But oh well. But yeah, The Punisher felt like a very different show. Violence and gore, and didn't go as far as it could have, and we still didn't really see the kids die. And even in his dreams, there was just blood spatter. After Micro got shot, and the guns were pointed at the kids. But I guess he woke up before then. Before they got shot, and more blood got poured everywhere. But yeah, there was a lot of blood, and it was very brutal. Which I like about the Punisher, and makes it feel different from Daredevil, because I doubt there was this much blood in Daredevil. And I feel like Frank could take a beating better than Matt at this point. Especially since he has multiple gunshot wounds and stab wounds, and he's still fighting on, especially after maybe he pulled a muscle or something in his socket, or I really don't know what happened once he jumped off that stairwell with the fire hose and he just heard his arm snap. But he's still able to use it, so maybe a fracture or something, since he still had mobility in it. But I don't know. And then I feel like Frank is a fast healer, since it seems like he'd be fine after a day or two. And same thing with Madani. She was in a car accident after Michael hit her with that van after they stole the weapons. And Frank pulled her out, and she had blood pouring from her face, and the next day, once she woke up, you saw all the bruises on her body. But after like a few days and a few nights she spent with Billy, all those, and the next scene after that, you can see like all her bruises are gone, and she has like no scars on her face from the car accident, which was weird, but oh well, I guess I'll let it slide. But yeah, just some minor details that were weird or didn't add up or make sense now and then, but other than that, it was still a cohesive story, and everything fit together since Lewis was connected to Curtis was connected to Billy and Frank. Then, of course, Billy was connected to the higher-ups that were planning Frank's death and wanted him dead and Micro dead. And that's how Micro came all into this. And I guess everything makes more sense now, since the Punisher's part in Daredevil Season 2. I guess without watching Daredevil Season 2, you miss out on some of the pieces of the Punisher, since you wouldn't see Snoozer die, or when the Punisher got that micro disc. Or how he knows Karen. And I'm surprised no one mentioned Matt. But I guess that's good, maybe, because the timetables could be either or if they don't mention Matt before or after Defenders. It'd have to be after, because I feel like Matt would try to stop Lewis since the Punisher's still in New York, but maybe Matt just protects Hell's Kitchen and doesn't go farther. That could be it too, but you never know. But yeah, Punisher was awesome. Can't wait for season 2. Can't wait for his reappearance in maybe in Daredevil again. I really do hope he shows up in Daredevil. Or one of the other Marvel shows. I don't think I can wait over a whole year without Punisher. Or at least some cameo. But yeah, what did you guys think on the Punisher? Did you like it? Did you love it? Were there problems you had issues with? Was it a cohesive story for you? And where would you rank it among the other Netflix Marvel shows? And oh yeah, there's this one Silicon Valley reference that Michael did, where he said since he was an NSA analyst, his other job could have been making apps in Silicon Valley, which is a Ray Palma reference if you watch Legends of Tomorrow. And maybe the writers do watch that show. Because in Legends of Tomorrow, and they mentioned Silicon Valley and The Flash too, since all those shows are connected. Which is weird, which makes me think, does the Marvel TV shows takes place in the same universe as the DC TV shows? But that wouldn't work out. It just has to be like a Easter egg for the writers then. From the writers. But anyways, thank you for watching or listening. And I want to know your thoughts on the Punisher season. And what do you want to see in season 2?